Today, I'm taking this crusty slab of scrap wood and turning it into a charcuterie board so classy, your mother-in-law's gonna finally think you've got your life together. Whether you're building something for your next family get-together or you're trying to drop jaws at a fundraiser, this is one project you'll want to see through the very last coat. What's up, folks? I'm Mitch with Penetrate Epoxy, and this one's special to me. This board's headed straight to Elk Grove High School in California, my old stomping grounds, for their FFA barn dance fundraiser. I raised pigs there, I learned a lot, I got muddy, and then I spent the next chunk of my life raising hundreds more. So this one, yeah, it hits home. And in typical Stone Cold style, we're gonna turn nothing into something. Let's get going. First stop, the slab jig. This thing can flatten anything from a cutting board to an ancient redwood slab. And today, we're giving this slab a little chiropractic adjustment. I'm just skimming the highs. No need to stress your router. Little passes is the key here. Once that's flat enough to sit still without wobbling like a three-legged hog, I'm bringing it to the saw. Squaring the edges, keeping one live edge for natural beauty, and this black walnut has character, and we're gonna show it off like a proud parent at the county fair. Next, I hit everything with 220 grit, just enough to open up the grain so it can drink up some of that epoxy. This slab has cracks big enough to hide your house keys, so we're busting out the wood shop epoxy Penetrate. Thin, deep, and stabilizing. The perfect pre-game warm-up for raw wood. You can thin it with up to 50% by volume with acetone, and it soaks in like sweet tea on a hot day. Brush it on heavy, get it into every crack and crevasse, and then let it drink. We wait about 6 to 8 hours for it to cure if you need to sand, or you could recoat within about 3 hours. Little bubbles, totally normal. That's the wood saying, thanks, I was thirsty. I hit both sides of this project because stubborn little micro bubbles can sneak from underneath that slab when it's time to pour our casting resin. So, pro tip guys, seal every side, top, bottom, sides, back, whichever, with our Penetrate Epoxy before pouring your river tables, especially when you're going clear, because you're going to see those micro bubbles coming out from the bottom of that slab and walking their way up all those edges. We let it cure overnight, then the next day, everything's sealed up. I knock down the drips, clean the edges, sand them with about 220, and then we're building the form. Plywood, Tyvek tape, latex caulking. Basically, the holy trinity of leak prevention. I space the slab away from my form edges with paint sticks so the epoxy can flow all the way around and fully encapsulate it. This is a pro tip when you have a bunch of cracks and crevasses on your exterior or your edges. Epoxy doesn't like to flow into craters and holes on a vertical edge very easily without doing like 3,000 coats. So this is the best pro tip of the entire video. This little extra effort here saves a whole lot of crying later. On the big project I took out to the Texas Woodworking Festival, we did a silver and black color passion paste pour at the bottom of that one. My high school alma mater bleeds blue and gold, so we're going to go with that same look in the base color using our wood shop epoxy flood coat. For pours up to 3/8 of an inch max. We're going to use a brand new paste from Color Passion, Blue and Gold Passion. My old school colors. Gotta rep, baby. I pour in the blue first, swirl in the gold, torch lightly, and I drop one big blue vein right through the middle to break up all that gold. Mwah! Beautiful. The flood coat epoxy will be cured and ready for the next step anywhere from 18 to 24 hours later. Next day, the base coat looks killer. Just as I imagined. So happy. I hand sand with 220 to create a mechanical bond because she cured over 24 hours. Very important step. Then wipe everything with 91% isopropyl alcohol. Not acetone. Acetone is how you ruin your weekend. Everything flowed where it needed to, and this thing is officially ready for the deep pour. Let's get ready to mix some epoxy. Woodshop Epoxy Ultra Deep. Up to 3 inches deep in a single pour. Slow curing, crystal clear. I mix for about 5 to 10 minutes with a drill. Go slow. Scrape the sides and bottom, and then let the bucket sit for just a few minutes. That's gonna make all those air bubbles rise right to the top. I pour down a ramp using a paint stick. That also keeps the bubbles to a minimum. Ultra Deep likes to chill, and we respect that. So we're gonna pass it a couple times. with a blowtorch. That's going to pop any micro bubbles making their way to the surface. I then tint a small batch of flood coat that I used earlier and drip it into the slab's natural cracks. That gold sinks in and looks like nature struck it with gold lightning. Torch every few minutes, but allow the epoxy to cool in between torchings. Next day, time to demold. Using Tyvek tape, it grabs its hat and coat and politely leaves. Clean and easy release. I pin nail the slab in place, flatten the top and bottom of the slab jig, and hit it with a table saw to square her up. Now that the charcuterie board is cut to size, we need to sand it nice and smooth, and we're going to sand it up to 220 grit. I use an 1/8 inch round over on all edges, top, bottom, and my corners. Pro tip, if you leave those corners sharp, it's going to have very little epoxy on that tip of that corner. So I always round over any sharp edge. Depending on how much you need to router down that slab, sometimes that opens up new cracks. So I brush on another fresh coat of Penetrate Epoxy, thinned with acetone, only on that exposed wood. Once dry, I lightly sand, clean things up, and prep for that gap filling. Quick coat time, fast setting epoxy. Cures in just about 3 to 4 hours, perfect for patching any tiny pinholes or stubborn cracks. And I got good news, we're working on a faster setting woodworking epoxy for filling said cracks. We want to get to that sanding faster so you can get to that flood coat faster, delivering your product to your happy spouse or that customer in a timely manner. We're always looking to improve our systems here at Stone Coat Epoxy, so if that doesn't deserve a subscribe, I don't know what does. I tint this product gold, drizzle it in, torch the bubbles, let it cure, then sand everything smooth. This slab is getting dialed in, baby. This is the moment we've been waiting for. The glossy, glassy wow coat. Mix 2 minutes, scrape, mix 1 more. Pour in the middle and spread with your gloved hand on these smaller projects, or opt for our notch trowel and chop brush for a full-size tables. Push the epoxy over the edge, torch carefully. No need to torch those edges. Bubble-free epoxy is going to self-level over, leaving you with bubble-free edges. The grain wakes up, the colors pop. This whole board becomes a piece of art. Now, I'm stepping out of my wheelhouse. I have never applied gold leaf. So I hit up my good friends Erica and Jeff Thornton with Artist Till Death. They've done a ton of this stuff. Got some pro tips, got the right products to use, which I'll leave in the link in the description below. And while my epoxy is curing, I'm prepping that Elk Grove FFA logo in gold leaf. I get my stencil, clean her all up, and then I press it tight, taking my time. This is an important step. You don't want any wrinkles or bubbles for that glue to soak under, because gold is going to stick there. I brush on my adhesive, peel the stencil, and then lay that gold leaf. Press gently. Man, my Fred Flintstone hands are not made for gold leaf, I'll tell you that much. But after pressing gently, we're going to brush away any excess with a brush. Then I detail the edges with a razor blade like I'm diffusing a bomb, slow and clean. And if I would have pulled my stencil earlier while that adhesive was still wet, it would have had much cleaner lines. I mix another batch of flood coat, pour it, spread it, torch it, make sure that gold leaf disappears under a perfect level of epoxy glass. Once the epoxy gels around 2 to 3 hours later, I scrape the drips on the underside to save some time sanding later. And after it cures, I sand the bottoms to a nice 320 grit. And this board is done, son. I slap on a couple gold handles that we don't show because I forgot to film it. And there you have it. A blue and gold leaf live edge charcuterie board with deep pore epoxy and a whole lot of Elk Grove FFA pride. If you learned something today, smash that subscribe button like it owes you lunch money. Hit like, drop a comment, and tell me what you're working on next. From all of us here at Stone Coat Countertops, don't forget, you got this. And we'll see you on the next video.